What's up, everybody? My name's Allie, and welcome back to another episode of Booked in Detroit. Today, I got to sit down with Wayne State University press publicist Kelsey Giffin. Check it out. So, why don't we start by just having you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Kelsey Giffin. I'm the publicist at Wayne State University Press. We are a book and journal publisher that focuses on general audience books as well as scholarly books based in Midtown Detroit. A little bit about what I do on like the day-to-day basis is I handle all of our, PR media relations. So that's, telling different news outlets about our books, booking author events, handling our social media platforms, a little bit of everything.
Hmm. So, what is Wayne State University Press? Can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Of course. So Wayne State University Press has been around since 1941. So we're actually celebrating our 85th anniversary this year.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It's been a lot of fun. So I've been with the press for about 5 years now. So I've seen a lot of growth in the press, but typically what we focus on, so we are a regional trade publisher as well as some scholarly books. So some of the books that, would be coffee table books about architecture around the city of Detroit that people are familiar with, or biographies about, city or regional leaders. We have a book all about the history of the Coney dog. So those are some of the titles that people would recognize us from. But we also publish books on the scholarly side that are used for courses. Our main focuses include African American studies, Jewish studies. We actually publish a lot in fairy tale studies, film and media as well. We are also celebrating 20 years of our Made in Michigan Writer Series, which houses all of our creative work. So that's poetry, memoir, creative nonfiction anthologies, all about the state or about an author who has spent formative years here in Michigan. So typically we publish about 30 to 35 books a year, as well as 12 different academic journals.
Nice.
Well, 12 academic, one literary journal.
Nice. So my next question was, what kind of literary works does WSD Press publish? But I guess it sounds like a little bit of everything. So,
Yeah, we mostly publish in our literary works. We don't publish fiction novels, but sometimes we'll have like collected link stories. We do publish a lot of poetry, and then we also have a lot of success with our anthologies as well. So we just actually published one this summer called Black Summers Growing Up in the Urban Outdoors, which is 29 different contributors, all Detroiters, that talks about their experience in the summers in the city.
nice. That's really cool. Given that the university's editorial board gives final approval on your titles, how do you navigate the balance between institutional oversight and maintaining an independent publishing vision?
So we are actually very lucky to have a very supportive editorial board. I mean, our acquisitions editors, they spend a lot of time with the manuscript before it even gets to the editorial board. So we have a kind of a basis of what types of books that we look to publish and what we are excited about. And those editors are really kind of that last line of defense for supporting a project all the way through publication. If we're excited about it, we want our editorial board to be excited about it. But granted, at the end of the day, that's part of the checks and balances of working for a university press. But what the editorial board there is really to do is to make sure that there is some type of contribution that this work is providing, especially on the scholarly side of things, so they can help navigate or to help us to add more to a book. But we really have a great working relationship with them, and we're all on the same side. We all want to publish great works about our areas of expertise.
Nice. How are the board members selected and how does the review process work?
So our editorial board they serve a multi-year term, and they're typically we have few representative from different departments of our areas of expertise. So, we'll have one person who's representing the Department of African American Studies, one from the Jewish Studies Department, and they are all um, professors at the university. But before the project even gets to the editorial board, all of our projects go through what's called a peer review process. So we will send out the manuscript and other materials out to experts within the field. So, for example, for a poetry title, that's going to be, a poet of similar either who writes about similar topics, or if it's, a book of about, this race in fairy tale studies, then we're going to send it out to other fairy tale scholars. We need 2 positive reports in order to move a project along into the editorial board. However, if we get 1 positive, 1 negative report during the peer review process, then we can send it out to a 3rd individual in order to make sure that we have all of the information that we need in order to successfully move the book forward.
Right. So, can you tell me how the WSU Press helps students prepare for real work or career experiences in the publishing field?
We are very lucky to be able to have both student workers and interns at the press. So we actually work with the Humanities Center, and they typically will send over one intern every summer for us that works in our acquisitions department. And then we will also have other internships and student workers throughout, within all the different departments. So we currently have one student worker in our marketing department as well. So they can kind of get a little bit of that behind the scenes knowledge about what it's like to work in publishing, especially, a lot of publishing jobs are based in specifically New York City or other large cities. And so
Yeah.
it's nice for students who live in the Midwest to be able to have those experiences. And we also often work with the English department, and they have a professional editing course, and we will do like a walkthrough of what it's like to be, to work in publishing. So if there's ever any departments or classrooms that want to learn a little bit more, we are very much open to, pulling back the curtains and talking a little bit more about what we do.
Nice. That's really cool. Do you have a favorite piece that WSU has published WSU Press has published over the years? And if so, what was it about?
My favorite piece. Oh, that's a hard one because I've worked on a lot of great projects.
Yeah.
The piece that I actually really have loved, and it's actually more on the scholarly side of things, it's called Spectres of the Marvelous. It's by Kimberly J. Lau. It's actually a book about race in European white fairy tales, basically. So it's talking about how, all of these classical fairy tales that you hear about, you always, you look around and everyone in the room is white. And why is that the case? So it's a little bit more on the scholarly side, but I think that it's very approachable, and it, hits on a lot of our different focuses that we have at our press.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
When it comes to publishing, what's the biggest challenge in this career field that people might not know about?
Publishing is it's a fast moving industry. Even though that there's a lot of, people can be working on books for years and years and years before the publication process has started. And then all of a sudden it's like 0 to 100 very quickly. We can move books through our process in as little as 6 months. And that's a lot of prep work for not only the author, but also for us. And so we are always busy, but it's, something that we all love to do, and we're excited to be here. One thing, especially about a university press compared to other like trade publishing, is we support our backlist. So Wayne State has over 1,200 titles that are actively in print, and we are constantly supporting all of those books. Just because your book published, in December of 2025 doesn't mean that we stop supporting it, which typically is the case for a trade publisher. So there's always more work to be done.
Yeah. As someone who works in publishing, what's the best advice you could give to an author who's looking to have their work published?
Just reach out. Um, before I think that the most important part about finding a publisher is look the the books that are on your shelf that are similar to the book that you are trying to publish, who publishes those books. um, we get great projects all the time and we just aren't the right house for that, because we publishers have different specialties. While your fiction novel is amazing and I love it, that doesn't mean that we are the right publisher for that. So I would say spend a little bit of time doing that research before you're ready to publish it, and then just be ready to advocate for your work. Our authors who are the most successful are the ones who are out there telling their friends and family and their colleagues about their book. The work doesn't stop once you've turned in that manuscript. It
Right.
continues, and it's a lot of work, but I think it's very rewarding as well.
Nice. What will WSU Press have at their book fest booth?
So we are very excited to have a lot of our new books in publication there at a very deep discount. One of the books that I mentioned earlier, Black Summers, Growing Up in the Urban Outdoors, we will have copies of that, as well as we will have a bunch of author signings all day long. So starting from 10 a.m. all the way to 3 p.m. We'll even have two of the contributors for Black Summers, including National Book Award finalist Tommy Blount will be there at our booth signing. So please stop by, come get some, free swag, and check out our new and loved titles.
Yes, that sounds interesting. People are definitely gonna have to check it out. So,
Yeah.
last question is, where can people find you online?
wsupress.wayne.edu is our direct link to our website. And then you can also find that website through our Facebook and Instagram channels as well, which is at WSU Press. But all of our books are also available for sale through bookshop.org or locally through your indie bookstores and wherever else books are sold.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Great. Thank you so much.